Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I thought I'd just point out a few things with these heated grips here. In the previous video, I was showing you how we needed to, I wanted to put some heated grips on the bike. And so a couple of things, you can razor the old grips off, and that's not an issue on the clutch side. What I would suggest on the throttle side is to take the plastic throttle tube right out, and I'll show you here in a second why I say that, because there's a number of different reasons, but for instance, on this side here, you've got when you get the old grip off, you raise the old grip off, there's going to be it's almost like a Honda glue on there. That's the only term I have. It's got some glue that's going to be on the handlebar, and it can kind of be a little bit of a pain. I use a razor, and then you can use some just some regular starting fluid. You can use that on a steel wool, heavy steel wool pad, and get that. Make sure you get all that glue off there. It takes a little time and patience because you got to work with the razor blade, and then work with your starter fluid and a little of this on there. And in this particular thing, the bar was quite slippery and shiny underneath there. So what I would say is to, once you get all the glue off, is hit it with a little emery, wrap the emery around and scuff the bar up a little bit. Give that glue a little something to get a hold of there. I marked the bar where I want the grip to go on. Now I'll take that off there, but you've got to be real careful because, like, for instance, in the instructions, they've got this heading more towards the front. Well, it sticks out quite a bit and would have fouled the clutch lever. So you've got to be real careful about where. Now what I'll do, of course, is tie this up with the original harness here. Leave room for your starter button, obviously, and everything else. But individual bikes are going to differ there. Now, as I said, you can take the plastic throttle tube right off. Now, this throttle tube, I don't know if you'll be able to make it out here, but it has I've taken them off of the grinder because this will not fit over that throttle tube if it has raised, embossed standoffs on here to hold the original grip. So those have got to go. And just very carefully with a grinding wheel, if you have one, or I suppose if you don't, you can use a file. You've got to take those off. It also has a raised edge on the end that had to come off. It's almost like a washer kind of looking raised edge on the end here. You've got to take that off of there. Now, what I did is set this, turn your grinder on if you have a grinder. Otherwise, you're going to have to do it manually. But you can. So once you get the raised standoffs off that thing, you've got to, make sure you get a good fit here because it is tight. And, you got to get the grip right because, if you don't, obviously, you've only got one shot at getting this darn thing on there because the super glue cures very quickly. And let me see if I can get a little better light here and work on my bench. Is a little bit messy, but you can see how this is a little tapered on the end here. It's not a big deal, but you can about see where the grip will slide up to on there. And then you may have to trim the end of the, they do give you some room on the end there to trim off some of the rubber because you've got bar end weights to put back on that help with vibration and things like that. So you got to make sure you've got enough clearance for your bar end weights if you have them. Here's one of the pieces I cut off the end. So, and they are open on the end, so you can reinstall your bar end weights and things like that. Now, one other thing here is in the instructions it says to put the super glue, and they give you a tube of super glue with the grips. It says put the super glue on the bar and make sure it's covered real well. Well, the problem with that is you put it all over the bar, and you got to work quickly because we're talking about super glue here. You slide the grip on, but then it can literally foul. This is plastic. So it's going to force all the glue up in towards your handlebar switch module, and you got super glue all over this module and forced into it, and now you've really messed that up. So I don't suggest doing that. I put the glue quickly, hold the grip, put the glue all around the inside of the tube and let it drip down into the tube real quickly. Then put the grip on the bar, because then that'll force the glue down into the grip as it slides on and not into your switches. So, a little bit more. If you'll get too much glue and it'll come out of the end here, and just have a rag handy and you can wipe it clean, and then don't touch it and leave it overnight. And that's a suggestion there. Otherwise, you're going to have super glue fouling everything. Now, this, even though I've taken care to carefully bring this down to size, it's still a pretty darn tight fit. And so, unfortunately, it's a little tedious. I'm going to have to work this down until I get a fit that I like. And what I'm going to do is, basically the same thing there. Now, it's not quite as critical here, because if you were to put glue on the tube and slide it in there, number one, this is going to force it out. And it may drip down the side of the grip. So you could actually put it on here and then slide again. Now I put a little mark on this tube where I want the wire to go. Otherwise, mark it before you take it off, or you won't know where you want the wire to end up. And again, be careful, because this is a large standoff on here, and if you were to put it in a position where you grab a handful of brake and it hits that, obviously that's not gonna be good. So generally I usually have it facing up and leave a little loop in the top of it, so when you twist the throttle, it's got enough, obviously enough play that you're not following the motion of the throttle. Now, again, every bike is different, but before you just slap these on there like the instructions say, make sure that you're not going to foul anything like the brake lever or whatever it might be, because, again, each bike is different, and that'll have to come out. Again, these you want to make sure the bar end weight, hardware, and everything is not in the way. So anyway, that's the first step on it. Messing with the grips can be a little anxious for a few minutes, because honestly, if you get the super glue cures so quickly, if you don't get it right the first time, it's a real pain, because trying to cut one of these heated grips off of that handlebar is not going to be fun. It's not like you just take a razor to those and get them off easily. So take your time, check your fitment, make sure your wires are in the right place. Don't put glue on the handlebar, put it in the grip so it forces the glue down into the grip. And I put plenty on there, and I let it drip down onto the floor, so I made sure it was coming out the end, and then slid it on there. So those are a couple of the tips I've got for your heated grips. And then you can obviously, I'm going to run the wires and tidy everything up here and do that. But anyway, a couple of suggestions there. And I'll get back with another video after I get them installed, and there probably have a couple more tips for you there. But Anyway, that's a start for if you're going to install your heated grip. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.